Welcome back for the finale of What If Anakin Never Stayed on Mustafar. Thank you to those of you who have watched the first part of this What If. If you haven't seen that, I recommend you watch that first before watching this video. The link will be in the description below. Over the following years, Palpatine, Vader and the Ruthless Empire conquered the planets, leaving the pockets of rebellion cells little time to mobilize. Senator Organa had been at the forefront of the rebellion, as he had managed to keep most of the Empire away from his home planet of Alderaan, and he had assisted in safeguarding any Jedi who had escaped Order 66, including Obi-Wan Kenobi. The former Jedi Council member and Ahsoka Tano had started to train Leia and Luke Skywalker in the Force, just as exiled Grandmaster Yoda had instructed them to do. The problem was, they were struggling to hide their presence in the Force from the Empire. Ahsoka had run into an Inquisitor on a mission from Senator Organa, and despite killing the dark side user, they were now being hunted. With no other options, they are forced to join Yoda on Dagobah. Evading many Imperial destroyers and starships, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Luke and Leia make it to the mysterious planet. They land smoothly in the middle of some swampland, but they are not greeted by Grandmaster Yoda, rather by the voice of Qui-Gon Jinn. Having undergone more training after the Clone War, Obi-Wan was beginning to communicate with his former master, and he guided them to Yoda's hut. The Grand Master had not been expecting their presence so quickly, and he berated their lack of patience. Nonetheless, with the Empire growing stronger, and the Sith not relenting, Luke and Leia had to start the second phase of their training, with Padme occasionally visiting when she was not busy assisting the rebellion. With their accelerated training, Qui-Gon and Yoda soon subject Luke and Leia to the Cave of Evil. Entering the cave, they both have the same fears, not of Vader, but of the Emperor. Yoda chooses to reveal the identity of their father after they leave the cave, and Luke and Leia are shocked that Padme had not told them. Like Padme, they refuse to believe that Vader could not be saved. Flying back to the rebellion's rendezvous point, their abilities are a welcome addition to the struggling group. The Empire's firepower was becoming impossible to contend with, and the Death Star was wiping out planets with a disturbing ease. The newly trained Force users are immediately put into a strange meeting, with plans to infiltrate and destroy the Death Star. Suddenly, the rebel fleet begins to shake, causing the rebels to fall over and slide to the walls. Obi-Wan gets to his feet, and looking outside of the window, he saw the Imperial fleet dwarfing the rebel fleet and casting a large shadow over them. Their location had been revealed. They tried to get to the command deck and wrestle control over their ships, but none of them could resist the power of the tractor beam from the Imperial-class Star Destroyer. Soon, much of the fleet is depleted, leaving a lone rebel cruiser standing, the cruiser holding most of the important people in the rebellion. Ahsoka and the Jedi lead the rebel officers, and as a ramp to their ship revolved to the ground, they attacked. The Imperial troopers are surprised by the resistance, and soon, the hangar is cleared by the rebels. Deciding to split up, Obi-Wan, Luke and Leia sought the bridge, whereas Ahsoka, Yoda, and most of the rebel officers including Padme, looked for any sign of Vader or Palpatine. They knew they would be unlikely to defeat them, but they could at least cause a distraction. As they slowly walk through the labyrinth of passageways, Padme spots a large tower, distinct from the command deck. Approaching a turbolift, they hear alarms start to go off. The sound of the alarms is quickly drowned out by the footsteps of several thousand officers and stormtroopers. The rebels are forced to ascend the lift and begin to feel the darkness. Elsewhere on the ship, Obi-Wan, Luke and Leia had made their way to the bridge with relative ease, despite the alarms, but soon, sets of blast doors impeded their progress. Making their way through, they dispatch all of the naval officers and assume control of the ship. But as soon as that happened, Leia spots the other group going up a lift, and along with Obi-Wan, goes to join them. As the lift doors open for Ahsoka and Yoda, the Emperor swivels from his chair and greets them with a cold stare. Ordering Vader and his royal guards to eliminate them, Vader emerges from the shadows. Yoda force pushes the royal guards into a wall, and Ahsoka and himself begin their attack. Even though they're trained on Dagobah, the light side wielders were struggling against a fully powered Vader. Finally managing to force push both of his opponents next to the guards, Sidious cackled until the lift doors opened again. Out stepped Obi-Wan, Leia and Padme, and Vader paused. Palpatine stood from his chair and shocked his apprentice, ordering him to attack. But instead, Vader went for his master. The two frantically duelled, with the Jedi confused as to who to attack, but decided on Palpatine first. The Sith Lord is taken down through their combined efforts, with Yoda dealing the killing strike. They had no time to celebrate, as Vader attacked Obi-Wan, furious at keeping Padme away from him for so long, and dropped into his knees. Obi-Wan had accepted his fate, until Padme stood defiantly between the two, and pleaded with Vader to stop, just as she had wanted to do on Mustafar. After a long pause, Vader drops his lightsaber, and bows to Padme for forgiveness, but was met by a pair of stun cuffs behind his back. Watching Vader being taken away, Padme finally had Anakin back. That is it for What If Anakin Never Stayed on Mustafar. If you enjoyed this, please like this video, turn on that notification bell, and if you're new to this channel or my other channel, subscribe for more what ifs. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.